Jerry Jones was asked last night at the press conference, does this now mean you guys are in a rebuild?
Well, again, we've certainly got a new coaching staff. And a third of all the players are new. And so obviously there is freshness. We'll use the word new on that basis. But we have the highest paid player in the NFL at quarterback. And we made that commitment last year, and we're proud we made it. It had everything to do with this decision. Mm-hmm. Everything. It is give us every opportunity with Dak Prescott and Lamb and the base that we've got to win now. And so all you need to do, this would, I'm not so sure this would have been results had we not had Dak. But the fact that we have Dak, we need to stop the run. Yeah. We really do. We need to get the ball back.
All right, Choppy, for those upset about this, not enough return. You don't trade the generational talent. You've screwed yourself this year. You're getting end of first-round picks. Make us feel better.
Well, I can't make you feel better about the return. The return is what it is. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm fine with it. Right? If I'm going to be nitpicky, I would have liked more, but I'm fine with the return. I'm fine with the cash savings. You're saving $47.5 million. Jerry said during camp, that's 4 starters. You get 4 starters for that money.
You're saving $47 million into the future. You're saving 20 instantly this year.
Right. So now this year doesn't do anything, but it does roll over.
Yeah, I mean, you could roll it over, or if they do decide to make a deal at the deadline, if they feel like they're in contention,
Absolutely.
or to get extensions done with guys like Blandon Smith.
Absolutely. So you do one thing you do is you get some depth out of it. Yeah. You get some depth. Also, of the top 10 highest paid defensive players in the NFL, only one has won a Super Bowl, and only one more even knows the address to the Super Bowl, and that's Nick Bosa. The rest of them have not made it. So paying defensive players premium money has not really worked out the way they want, the way teams think. Depth on defense, stars on offense. But, what this does is it allows them to at least have a plan. We just talked about this. Jerry mentioned it. You said it earlier. When you pay Dak $60 million, you don't make this kind of move.
Right.
You don't make this kind of move.
You don't bring in Pickens and make this type of move.
Right. Those are all win-now moves. Signing Dak to $60 million is a win-now decision. This is not a win-now decision. Is this a change in philosophy? Is this a I'm sick of this guy? Is this my money got mad?
By the way, Jerry Jones is going to want credit for, and if you hate this, my theory is that the gambler could not have come out at a worse time. My theory is that this brought up and stirred up some of the memories about loyalty, Jimmy, Micah. Stirred up some of the memories about the Herschel deal. He dropped Herschel again last night. So it's a stretch of a theory, but it's a theory that some of those emotions were like, hey, I did this in my glory time. Maybe we can go ahead. My principles are not changing about loyalty. You agreed to a deal. We had multiple negotiations, and let's try to get a return. But he's like, and then the gambler, this is a gamble. It's a gamble in the wrong way to me in order to try to win now because I don't want to go through a losing season. But Jerry last night's like, I get criticized. Machota asked him. Machota was in the studio. He goes, they don't move off star players. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen. And Jerry's like, I'm criticized for not moving off star players. You talk about all the time, and now I did.
Yeah, and now he does. So, look, this also is a legacy move for Jerry. If they go, and this also, I think, puts Dak on a clock of some kind. They've got...
Well, we thought it was a 2-year clock anyway.
Well, yeah, now it may be a 1-year clock.
It's a 1-year clock to me.
Now, financially, right, the way it sets up, Dak, if you were to do a pre-June 1 cut, it's still not worth. You still can't do it until after next season.
You're locked in until probably 27.
Also, after 26 season.
After 27, you're locked in.
Wait,
and that would still be $50 million dead cap.
Right. If you post June 1 them, you could get out of it after next year, where you have $45 million in savings and $23 million in dead cap. If you post June 1 them. I suppose you could trade him. But what this does is you now have ammo and an idea to where we can move on from Dak if we want to.
Man, that's the other thing that flooded my timeline yesterday was Arch.
Because let's be honest.
I'm now rooting for Arch. I can't stand Longhorn fans, Bobby included. But now I want Arch Manning to sit here and, oh, my God, my Whataburger guy just turned his back on me. I want Arch Manning to go out here and set records and blow up the entire world of college football. I'm going to go horns up because I want to have a little bit of hope for this hype story.
So, look, if this thing comes down to Arch is not coming out this year. Okay, he's gonna play 2 years.
He might
slow down, Archie. He might.
What if he destroys and wins the national title? He might.
He might.
I don't think he will the Manning way. But
it's not in the Manning DNA. I will say this: I've bought in on Arch Manning. All right,
based on
every other Manning has been a legend. Like, do you think it just cuts with him?
That's not a way to justify it.
I think it is.
Good genes, baby. Good genes.
There's something with that DNA. All right, this is some Amon Ra's
Archie's
dad.
DNA.
This is some Amon Ra's dad. You can only cut it once.
Yeah, cut it.
Yeah, they didn't cut it. There's no cut, right?
It's
every
He's going to be great because his last name.
Look, every other Manning that has made the NFL has been a legend. I don't know. It's not like it's just one. It's three people. You know, it's
okay.
Three. It's like the Matthews family. You knew Clay was going to be good. Clay Jr. Right? You knew.
So now I have to go and give you all the other sons in sports who weren't good?
Not great.
No, but if you've already established, he's saying if you've already established two generations, the third is not a bad bet.
It's Boone.
Okay.
It's Boone, man. You knew Brett and Aaron were going to be good. Because Ray and Bob were good. You knew it was going to happen, right? So if you were able to go down and you play this year out and you see how it goes, right? There's nothing you can do about this year. You play it out. You get the next year, if you see that this is not going to work, you take one of those Green Bay picks and you trade down. And you get another, or you take one of your own picks and you trade down. And you get another first. And then the next year, you take those first and you move up and you get Arch Manning. And that is where Jerry's legacy now sits. And that's where he could get credit.
And this is Jerry Jones talking about what they could do now with these extra picks.
And I'm just going to give you this. Not only do we immediately get a player, but those draft picks could get us, I'm talking top Pro Bowl type players, could. Not necessarily, you're going to be quick to say, you won't necessarily get those players. You got to draft them or acquire them. But they could get us as few as 3 or as many as 5 outstanding players. Now, not only do they contribute in a game that needs a lot of players on the field, not to be elementary, but they also give you better odds that they're going to be a high percentage of those are going to be available. The other thing that I want to say is we not only gives us 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years, we not only do that, nothing says we can't use some of those picks right now to go get somebody right now. Don't rule that out.
So I will give Jerry Jones this piece of credit.
Finally, after 15 years, Sean.
That's right. I'm stunned that he did this. Now, Jerry's going to come on all the stations and all the shows and say we're better with Kenny Clark and the 2 picks. Hogwash. I don't even know if he believes that.
No.
I'm shocked that Jerry Jones punted on a season at the age of 82.
I am too. That was always the thing because I got tired for a bad time.
Yep.
That was always the thing. He was never that.
And you were always, to RJ's team-building philosophy point, you're always held hostage by Jerry's window. Time for the bad time. And I'm stunned. And I give him credit for changing that philosophy, unless he totally does believe that they're better, which you can't. I give him credit for changing it to age of 82 with Jerry's shrinking window.
But if you're going to do this, don't you have to just blow the whole thing up?
Do you?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Like, I'm just throwing that out there.
But what does that mean?
Well, I think
trade Dak Prescott next year, and you're talking about a cap hit.
It would be a cap
you're
hit.
Going to trade Lamb, like he's not. They got Kenny Clark to try to sell us and sell them on still being decent enough this year.
That's right.
That's why they cut out whatever amount of teams didn't have good D tackles to try to be like, no, this year still matters. So they're not going to just wipe out CeeDee Lamb, I don't think.
When we talked to Jerry the first time,
and Tyler Smith and
Right, Deron Bland, when they worked on those deals. When we talked to Jerry the first time, do you think he would play ball at all with the question of if Micah hadn't been able to reach an agreement with Green Bay and that took the Packers off the table and took Kenny Clark off the table, were you still going to trade him to somebody else?
Yeah, he would probably play ball.
And do you think he'd say yes?
It depends if the other team had a D tackle good enough. That they said was the prerequisite. You had to have the 2 first, and you had to have a defensive tackle. But I'm pretty stunned that he's mailing in this season for the again. He would fight this publicly. They're not. No one has them making the playoffs. I don't.
If Ezeraku is better than they project,
because they were praising their pass rushing depth last night.
Which they're deep there. They got
a ton of questions. They're deep in questions.
There's some questions there, but they've got enough that you solidly see some stuff coming along that you feel good about. If Ezeraku is a 10-sack guy as a rookie, which is possible, I don't know that it's likely, but it's possible.
Yeah.
If he's a 10-sack guy as a rookie, and Kenny Clark does take them from what would have been, let's say, the 30th run defense, and his presence now makes them 15th. So if they're 15th and you get 10 sacks out of Ezeraku, is that as good as you would have been with Micah, do you think?
Look, you can sell me on an argument about this Cowboys defense if you move them high enough up in run defense. I have been bitching and crying and whining and killing them for years, how soft they are and how they can't stop throwing. I love that over the past week they finally made it this huge priority to justify moving Micah Parsons. Who was it? Tony Casillas is like, wait, so you give up a generational talent these days to stop the run? If you told me they were going to be so high up in run defense, that's why I asked you the question earlier. Can you make the argument that the defense is better because of how much Kenny Clark could improve the run D?
They could be better, but not. I can't with certainty say that they're going to be.
Yeah,
better.
if you give me Ezeraku with 10 sacks, I mean, that's 3 or 4 less than Micah. The problem now is Nealand, Ezeraku, Fowler, Williams. They ain't got no Micah to take the attention away. They ain't got no one else. Kenny Clark now. You know about someone else figuring out where Parsons is.
Which we should be clear on this too. Kenny Clark is not. He is not like this is not Gilbert the Gravedigger Brown as a run stopper. Like he's a.
Is he more of a 3?
He's a guy. He's a well-rounded defensive tackle, but he's not like he's not like a top 5 run stopper at defensive tackle. He's a good run stopper who was about average last year. The problem is that they don't even have average as run stoppers inside right now, and that's what it's tissue paper inside, and that's where they clearly looked like they needed to get stronger.
Broda sent me the scouting report. Straight ahead power player, can hold the point of attack with power. Effort as a pass rusher more than technique. Can hold up against double teams. Will get stuck along the line at times as a pass rusher. Will play high as a pass rusher, and it will slow him down. Can be a hard guy to move in the run game. Powerful finish. But he does have pop. When he plays on the move, he can be hard to stop. Will play with some violence. Best move as a pass rusher is an arm over. Will fight to get back into the play. Rams game, most active as a pass rusher, more wins. Effort is really good. Chase the ball. Better early in the season than towards the end. Will help as that one technique due to his ability to play with power. That's brought us a scouting report.